Today we're going to look at index laws, raising powers. So a to the power of 0 equals 1 for every value of a except 0. And we can have a look at that and why that occurs by having a look at a pattern. So if we look at 2 to the power of 4, that's 16, 2 to the power of 3 is 8, 2 to the power of 2 is 4, 2 to the power of 1 is 2. We can see that every time we reduce the power by 1, it's the same as dividing by the base. So we're dividing by 2 each time. So 16 divided by 2 is 8, divided by 2 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. So then if we're going to one base less, going from a base of 1 to 0, we need to divide by 2 again. So dividing by 2 again, we'll get 1 as the answer to that. And it'll be the same for every base, for every other base, and you can try it yourself. A power of a power can be simplified by multiplying indices. So a to the power of m, all to the power of n, is the same as a to the power of m times n. And the reason for this, if we have a look at what exactly powers mean, if we have a look at this example, x to the power of 3, all to the power of 2, is the same as, well, if we've got x to the power of 3, x times x times x, all to the power of 2 means we're multiplying this twice. So multiplying x times x here, that's x to the power of 3, x to the power of 3. We're multiplying that twice. So x to the power of 3 twice. So we can see that x times x times x times x times x times x is the same as x to the power of 3 times 2, x to the power of 6. Okay? So that's why we can do that and why this law works. If we have a look at expressions involving powers, they can be expanded as well. So to make things simpler for us. So if we have a look at why that's the case, 3y to the power of 4, that's the same as 3y times 3y times 3y times 3y, 4 times. And then, because we can multiply in any order, that's the same as 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times y times y times y times y. So that's 3 to the power of 4 times y to the power of 4. So our 3y, all to the power of 4, is the same as 3 to the power of 4 times y to the power of 4. Having a look at an example now, a few examples. Simplifying these expressions, the first one here, 4 times x squared times y to the power of 3 divided by 2 times x squared times y. So we can separate out the values we have here for 4 divided by 2, multiplied by x to the power of 2 minus 2. So x to the power of 2 divided by x to the power of 2 there, that's x to the power of 2 minus 2. And y to the power of 3 divided by y is y to the power of 3 minus 1, because that's y to the power of 1 there. Whenever we've got just a variable by itself, it's always raised to the power of 1. We just don't need to write it every time. So that's the same as 4 divided by 2 is 2, times x to the power of 0, because that's 2 minus 2, times y to the power of 2. Now x to the power of 0, anything to the power of 0 is 1, so that's the same as 2 times 1 times y squared. So that's just 2y squared. Having a look here, 5x cubed, all to the power of 2, is the same as if we expand it out, 5 to the power of 2 times x cubed to the power of 2. So 5 squared is 25. And x to the power of 3, all raised to the power of 2, is going to be x to the power of 3 times 2. So that's 25 times x to the power of 6. Here a slightly more complicated one. U to the power of 2, all to the power of 4, times 7 times u to the power of 3, all to the power of 2. So we can expand this out by saying that's the same as u to the power of 2 times 4 here. U to the power of 2 all raised to the power of 4 is the same as u to the power of 2 times 4 times, and we can expand this out, 7 to the power of 2 times u to the power of 3 all to the power of 2. So u to the power of 2 times 4 is u to the power of 8. 7 squared is 49. And u to the power of 3 all to the power of 2 is the same as u to the power of 3 times 2. So if we then just simplify that u to the power of 3 times 2, we get u to the power of 6. And here we've got u to the power of 8 times u to the power of 6. So that's the same as u to the power of 8 plus 6. And we've got our 49 there. So we can say that u to the power of 8 plus 6 is the same as u to the power of 14. So our final answer there is 49 u to the power of 14. A much simpler expression than what we started with.